Hello everybody, my name is Lemon and I also go by Lemon. I am your coach of the Sacramento Surge, and today we have got the draft analysis for Season 5 of the SPS. We are, of course, in the Zapdos division, as per usual. I do want to note out last season I had a really tough time actually recording for school issues, but this season that should not be an issue. So, with that being said, let's look at the draft. Before we go into that, though, if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys are excited or if you're new, go down to that subscribe button. Go ahead and sucker punch that. It shows me you enjoy the content I enjoy creating. While you're down there, go ahead and also hit that notification bell so you never miss another Lemonades video. And with that out of the way, let's start it off. In this draft, we are able to go round by round, picking a team consisting of 9 to 11 Pokemon. We get to choose between those three number of Pokemon. There was a slight change to our budget this season. We have 115 points instead of 110. On the left side, you're going to be able to see the Pokemon pick by pick. On the top left, you're going to be able to see all of our Pokemon laid out by the whole roster. And on the bottom right, you are going to be able to see our Pokemon's nickname, their typing, their base stats, and their abilities. And with that being said, guys, let's kick off the draft officially. I was placed 7th in the draft. I don't really like being towards the middle, but this time around I felt pretty good about it because I like that I don't have to try. I'm trying to go away from gimmicky teams. I'm trying to step away from gimmick teams. So I felt pretty good about that draft strategy having a pretty middle pick. So I was very surprised to see that this behemoth that has given me so much trouble in previous seasons, Snaptrap the Mega Mawile was still here. 7 picks in. I jumped to the opportunity of grabbing this thing. Honestly, I don't want to deal with it this season. Mega Mawile cost us 118, not 118 points. What the heck am I saying? 18 points, putting us down to 97 points total, which is pretty solid. Snaptrap the Mega Mawile is an incredible physical offensive Pokemon. It doesn't look like it in that physical attack stat. However, the fact that it has huge power, which doubles its attack stat, is incredible. On top of that, it has pretty decent coverage, honestly. It's got access to Thunder Punch. It's got Iron Head, Play Rough, Sucker Punch, Crunch, Knockoff. I think it has Rock Slide. It's got Fire Fang, I think. It's got some pretty good coverage. It has... Did I say Play Rough? I might have already said Play Rough, but it's a very good offensive fairy for the late game. A little bit of a downside of this thing is that you really, whenever you have Mega Mawile, you really want to draft a second fairy, one that can be used earlier game. So that's something I really had to think about. Base 125 defense is pretty solid considering it does have Intimidate pre-Mega. So it can kind of work against physically offensive Pokemon a little bit to an extent. Sucker Punch hits incredibly hard. Honestly, everything this thing goes for hits incredibly hard. This thing has given me so much trouble in past seasons. I'm just so excited to have it on my team for once. It has access to Swords Dance. It's one of the famous sets out there for breaking steel types is Substitute Focus Punch, which, yeah, I'd like to run that at some point. But either way, I'm very happy to have this thing on my team. Snaptrap is so good. Moving on to the second Pokemon, though, I really wanted to secure a good Dark type because I have such a hard time using Dark types. That's something I've noticed. Dark and Ghost types give me a hard time. So I went with good old Ghidorah the Hydreigon. Hydreigon is a pretty solid Dragon type pairing with Mawile in that it is immune to ground with Levitate. It resists Mawile's fire weakness. It resists Ghost. It's immune to Prankster moves. It's a very good offensive dragon with a good base 125 special attack stat, with all around pretty good coverage in Dark Pulse, Draco Meteor, Flash Cannon, Flamethrower, Earth Power, Fire Blast, and it can run physical with Dragon Dance. Don't ever sleep on Dragon Dance Hydreigon, man. Don't ever sleep on it. Hydreigon cost us 15 points, putting us down to 82. I feel really good about this pick. I think it's a pretty good Pokemon all around. Base 98 speed tier is a little bit weird, but it's going to make a little bit more sense later on. I think it's really good the fact that it outspeeds base 95s, which is really good for... I'm not going to say them because I do know our schedule, and I don't really want to give my opponent that kind of intel real quick, but it is very helpful for Pokemon that have base 95 speed. because I can outspeed them and I can put a lot of pressure on them. Um, and if you haven't, so I guess you wouldn't have picked up on my draft strategy here. My draft plan is bulky offense. It's offense that it's offensive Pokemon that have value as bulk and that I can kind of interchange it between depending on the matchup. That's my draft strategy here, and I think I pulled it off pretty well. Moving on to the next pick though, round three. How did this thing make it? I don't think I've ever seen this thing ever go round three. Therian Tornadus. Landorus, I mean. Therian Landorus. Gaia here is incredible. I love this thing. I used it once back in season one, and it was honestly so fun. I really like this thing. This thing cost us 16 points. It was not on my original draft plan, but whenever I saw that it was still there, this thing pairs with Mawile incredibly well. Being able to put so much pressure off on fire and steel types with that very powerful base 145 attack Earthquake is so good. It's got knockoff, U-turn, defog. I think it has taunt. It has access to Rock Polish and Swords Dance, so I can run Double Dance offensive set there. It's a very good breaker. Um, it can have some value as a special attacker with, like, I think it has Sludge Wave for some reason. Um, this thing cost us, 16 points, putting us down to 66. I still can't believe I got this thing, honestly. Another ground immunity with the flying typing is really cool. It's only weak to ice and water. So if we can get like a good water type, then we're going to be able to handle those things pretty well. Intimidate is really nice for lowering a Pokemon's attack. Having two Intimidators is something that my opponent is always going to have to think about a lot. Base 91 speed tier. I know it's a little bit weird that we have two Pokemon in that speed tier, but this thing is it's like such a weird speed tier that it just works. It outspeeds most Rotoms. Um, well, it does outspeed all the Rotoms. They're all base 86. We can outspeed all the Rotoms, unless they're scarfed, which is really cool. I really like this thing a lot. It has a lot of value both as defense and offense. I think I used it more defensively back in season one, and I want to try and stray from that because this thing's value on my team is definitely offense. Moving on to the next Pokemon on our team, I don't actually remember. You know what? Never mind. I do remember what it was. I wanted a good ghost type. Um, Ghosts, like I said earlier, darks and ghosts, I have such a hard time using. I don't know why. So I wanted to secure a good one. And that good one was Cheshire the Gengar. Funny thing is, I used this back in season one also. I think it only came to like one or two games, but I'm gonna step away from that. We're gonna do better with that. We're gonna do better with that. Cheshire the Gengar is an incredible specially offensive Pokemon. So far my team has been pretty physical heavy, but now it's like 50-50. Gengar having base 110 speed makes it the fastest thing on my team, second fastest being Hydreigon. 130 special attack hits incredibly hard. This thing has really good coverage in moves like Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Sludge Wave, Dazzling Gleam. I think it has Giga Drain. Um, it's got access to Focus Blast, Icy Wind even. Um, it's just so good. Curse Body never gonna really do anything, but this thing hits incredibly hard. It's a very good breaker. My opponent always has to think about the fact that this thing could come to the game. It always kind of forces my opponent to bring a dark or normal type, which is pretty good whenever you have a Mega Mawile in the back. Which it's pretty dang good. I like this pick a lot. This thing costs us another 15 points. My team is very top heavy. That's kind of the draft plan, is top heavy. I think that's really the meta. Um, I like this thing a lot. I really do. It's got Thunderbolt too for those flying types. That's really good. I like this thing a lot. Moving on to the next Pokemon, like I mentioned earlier, we really want to have a second fairy. In particular, a good second fairy. You gotta have a good, like, decently offensive secondary fairy whenever you have a Mega Mawile. And I think that the one that fits the team best is definitely Siren the Primarina. Primarina is a really good fairy type. I like this thing a lot. It cost us 12 points, putting us down to 39. Yes, I know, very top heavy. Siren, being a water and fairy type, is both incredibly good offensively and defensively. Only weak to electric, grass, poison. I think it's just electric, grass, and poison. Um, yeah, Landorus resists two of those, and brain, come on, please work. Hydreigon puts a lot of pressure on it's a good number of those, honestly. I like this thing a lot. It's got access to flip turn for pivoting. My team is a little bit pivot weak right now. Hydreigon's not a very good pivoter. Landorus is, but Hydreigon is not. Primarina, though, is a very good slow, bulky pivoter. It's got access to Hydro Pump. It's one of the very few offensive water types with grass coverage and Energy Ball, which is really cool because that lets it break through other waters, which is not very common. Pretty good base 126 special attack, 116 special defense, and 80 HP is pretty good. It's usually going to be running Torrent, but I do like that Liquid Voice. I think it's a pretty underrated ability. Oh, geez, what about this thing? What else about it? It's got Hydro Pump, it's got Ice Beam, it's got Moonblast, Energy Ball, Psychic even, Flip Turn. I just like this thing a lot, honestly. I don't know what else I have to say about it. It's just, I like it a lot on this team. I think it pressures the dragons pretty well, which is something you really want whenever you have both your Steel and your Fairy in Mega Mawile. Moving on to the next pick, I wanted something that was just pure, plain defense. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have grabbed this yet. Part of my plan was Regieleki, and it was actually like a kind of big part of my plan. And I should have grabbed it right here because the guy right after me grabbed it. But it's okay. We live and let learn, you know? So, moving on to the next pick, I wanted something that was just pure bulk. Something that my opponent has to prep specifically for in every single week. And that thing is Cosmosis the Deoxys Defense. I have been wanting to use this thing for a while. Ever since I saw it take a rain boosted adamant liquidation from a Mega Swampert, I have wanted to use this thing. This is such a massive tank. While that base 50 HP doesn't seem so, that base 160 defense and special defense does. This is the reason that I wanted to have two Pokemon that were in like a bit of a higher base 90 speed tier because of the fact that this thing has base 90 speed, but it's more defensive. The cool thing about having a defensive Pokemon that being that fast is that it has access to Taunt. Sorry, I hit my mic there for a second. It has access to Taunt, so it can shut down other bulky Pokemon and stack setter and hazard setters, which is awesome. It's got access to Teleport. It's a Pokemon that has access to both Teleport and Trick Room. If I ever want to run a very slow offensive Mawile in Trick Room, I can get it in for free, and then that thing just breaks. Which is awesome. Having access to Seismic Toss for an attack, being able to do a guaranteed 100 HP on anything, is pretty good until it's a high HP target, but it's usually pretty good. This thing cost us 13 points, putting us down to 26 with a minimum of 3 picks left, which I feel okay about. Pressure is really awesome on this thing because it lets it stall out Pokemon that usually want to be going for like big Dracos or whatever. It's got access to recover, so it can self-recovery. It's got spikes and stealth rock. Honestly, I don't think I grabbed any other hazard setters, but if I really wanted just 2 hazard setters, Landorus and Deoxys, those are just chef's kiss. Mwah. Those are the 2 I would want. Pure Psychic type only being weak to Ghost, Dark, and Bug is really awesome because I do think that Hydreigon handles all 3 of them pretty dang well. Yeah, I love this thing so much. I'm so excited for Deoxys. Moving on to the next pick, though, this is about where the grace period came into play. I originally had Entei. I really wanted Talonflame. Talonflame? I don't think I said that right the first time. I really wanted Talonflame, but somebody took it earlier in the draft. And then from there on, I just kind of drafted. I wasn't like really thinking, I just kind of picked. But I went in after free agent and I made some changes. The first one was I changed Entei to Azula, or Salazzle. Salazzle here is something I've been really wanting to try for a while. A poison and fire type. I wanted a good fire type breaker, and I also really felt like I needed something above base 110. I did not want Gengar to be my fastest Pokemon, but I like this thing on the team a lot for a multitude of reasons. For one, yes, I know it's weird that we have 2 poison types, but here's the thing. This thing is guaranteed to poison pretty much anything in the entire game. The only Pokemon in the entire game that are immune to its poison are, off the top of my head, I think Gliscor. I think that's like it. and I guess Breloom, but Breloom is never going to stay in. Poison Heal, basically. Because this thing has its signature ability, Corrosion. And what that does is it makes the move Toxic able to hit Steel and Poison types. So in matchups where those things are like super tanky, shut it down. That's got a time limit now, and that's awesome. Hits pretty dang hard with flamethrowers and sludge waves. It's got taunt, it's got toxics, and also being a poison type, its toxics are 100% accurate. They are guaranteed to land every single time. This thing costs us 11 points. I am super happy with this pick. On top of that, there is a bit of a strategy I realized thanks to one of the coaches. It's no secret, but one of the coaches made me realize this because I didn't even think about it. Is toxic Salazzle with Hex Gengar. That would hit so hard. I love it. Also, just being able to wear down my opponent's team guaranteed is really, really good. It's pretty fast. Base 117 is pretty decent. Yeah, I like this pick a lot. Moving on to our next Pokemon, I really wanted a Rapid Spinner, and one of my favorite ones in the entire game, next to what was my favorite Rapid Spinner? I gotta say Blastoise. Next to Blastoise, my favorite Rapid Spinner is by far Ivy the Serena. Serena costing us 9 points puts us down to 6 points left, which I know does seem really cheap with only 1 point left, with only one pick left, but trust me, we're gonna put some value into it. Serena is an awesome grass type Pokemon. Again, a little bit of bulky offense, in that it has access to some really good coverage. Honestly, this thing's coverage is kind of underrated. Power Whip, Trop Kick, being able to lower attack stats every time it hits is pretty awesome. Triple Axle, U-Turn, High Jump Kick, Knockoff. Um, I think I said Rapid Spin already, but yeah, it's a Rapid Spinner so it can remove hazards. So we have 3 hazard removers currently in Hydreigon, Landorus, and Serena, which is pretty good. I like this. Base 120 attack is pretty good for its offense. It's got U-Turn. I don't know if I said U-Turn, so it can pivot. It's a pretty good Scarfer. My favorite set out there is definitely Assault Vest. Um, I love this thing so much. It's one of my favorite lower tier grass types by far. If I need a grass type, this is my fallback every time. Um, Base 72 speed tier is pretty decent, honestly. Like it outspeed. I like these weird speed tiers where it's like slightly above like what people are gonna typically be going for, which is like 60, 70, 80. Like they're going in that 10 increments, while I'm going for like all these weird speeds where I'm going for all these weird speed stats. I like that strategy a lot. I think it's fun. Um, yeah, I like this thing a lot. Oh, and it has Play Rough. Play Rough for dragons. I like that a lot. Moving on to the next Pokemon on our team, it's actually the last Pokemon on our team. Yes, for the first time ever, I went with a not full 11 Pokemon draft. And our final Pokemon of the team is Buzzshock the Rotom. I can't step away from Rotom. I keep saying I'm not gonna draft a Rotom, I'm not gonna draft a Rotom, and then I draft a Rotom. It's like the equivalent of Silvally for me. Rotom Frost, though, being a 6-point Pokemon, fills in my 80 speed tier. I kind of went from 90 straight down to 72, and I hated that. But Rotom solves that problem pretty dang well. Giving us a base 86 speed tier, really solid. The fact that it has Defog, Thunder Wave, Hex. This is another Hex user, which is pretty cool. Um, I hit my mic again. Sorry if you could tell. Um, Hex, Thunderbolt, Blizzard. It has access to Blizzard, which is awesome because the fact that it's an electric ice type is one of the best offensive types in the game. Now, Blizzard is only 70% accurate. However, I will say I've seen more Blizzards land than I've seen Focus Blast land. So there's a bit of hope in that. It's another defogger, which was really nice. I thought that was going to be good. I didn't want to have Landers and Hydreigon be my only defoggers. What else can this thing do? It's got Volt Switch, so it's another pivoter. And it gives me another levitating Pokemon, which just means that I have absolutely no problem dealing with ground types, which is really good when I have a Salazzle. So, guys, I think that is it for the team. We're going to look at the full team. We got everything right here. I love our team. I really do. Sacramento Surge, I think we did good this season. I went a little bit out of the box with my draft strategy, but I think it really pays off this time. If you guys are excited for this season, do me a favor, go down to that subscribe button and sucker punch that so it turns nice and gray. Turn it away from the red. We don't like red here. Red means bad. Gray, though, gray means that you are following, you're subscribed, and that means that you can keep watching these amazing videos. with these other amazing coaches in the SPS. There's going to be a power ranking video coming out, I don't know, in the next week or so, in which, if whenever it comes out, it'll probably be out by the time I do my week 1 match, or by the time that the week 1 video is uploaded. By that time, I will have that video linked in the description, so keep an eye out for that. So guys, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm super excited for this season. I like our team a lot. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to see you all in week 1. Thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.